My name is Daniel. I am 30 years old, and this is the story of how I lost everything and somehow found myself again. I wasn't born broken. I had a family who loved me, a mother who never missed a prayer, and a father who believed I could be everything. But life doesn't always go the way we dream it will. When I was 16, my best friend introduced me to my first joint. It felt harmless, just laughter, music, and a cheap thrill. But that one choice planted a seed that would one day grow into a monster. By the time I was 21, I had moved from joints to pills and from pills to powder. I told myself it was just to escape the noise, the pressure, the emptiness, the feeling that I wasn't good enough. But the truth is, I was running away from myself. I had dreams once. I wanted to be a musician, to write songs that touched hearts. But addiction has a way of stealing your dreams quietly, one bad decision at a time. My friends changed, my world changed. Nights turned into mornings, and mornings turned into regrets. Soon the only thing that mattered was that next fix. I remember missing my sister's wedding. She waited for me until the last moment, but I never showed up. I was lying in a stranger's apartment, high out of my mind, staring at the ceiling and feeling absolutely nothing. That was the first time I realized I was no longer living. I was just existing. I lost my job, my apartment. My friends stopped answering my calls. Even my parents stopped recognizing the person I would become. But what truly broke me was the day my mother cried in front of me, not out of anger, but out of helplessness. She looked at me with eyes full of love and said, "Daniel, I can't save you anymore. You have to save yourself." Those words haunted me. I wanted to stop. I really did. But when addiction's on you, it doesn't ask for permission. It takes control, and I was completely powerless. I thought I could handle it until the day I almost died. The night I almost died, it wasn't dramatic like in the movies. No flashing lights, no one screaming my name. It was quiet, too quiet. I was lying on the bathroom floor of a cheap motel. My hands were shaking. I could barely breathe. Everything around me was spinning. I remember staring at the ceiling light, that dull yellow glow, thinking this might be it. And strangely, I wasn't scared. I was just tired. Tired of running, tired of lying, tired of pretending that I was okay. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. There was an IV in my arm and a nurse standing beside me with pity in her eyes. She said, "You are lucky to be alive." But I didn't feel lucky. I felt empty. That day, my father came to see me for the first time in 2 years. He stood at the door, silent, holding a photo in his hand, a picture of me when I was 10, smiling, holding a guitar. He didn't say much. He just said, "I miss that boy." And then he walked out. Those 4 words, "I miss that boy," they hit harder than any rehab lecture ever could. After I was discharged, I went back to the same place, the same empty room, the same darkness. But that night I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't recognize the man staring back. Sunken eyes, trembling hands, and a face that had forgotten how to smile. And then I broke down. I fell to the floor and cried like a child for the people I would hurt, for the dreams I would buried, for the life I would thrown away. In that silence, for the first time in years, I whispered a prayer, not for forgiveness, not even for another chance, just for strength. Strength to survive one more day. The next morning, I walked into a rehabilitation center. No one forced me, no one dragged me there. I just walked in and I said 6 words that changed everything. I don't want to die anymore. The counselor looked at me and smiled gently. He said, "That's good place to start." The first few weeks were hell. The withdrawal, the pain, the voices in my head, they all tried to pull me back. But for the first time, I fought back. Every craving felt like a war, and every clean day felt like a victory. There were moments I wanted to quit, but then I would remember my father's voice. I missed that boy, and that became my reason to keep going. I started writing again, short notes, poems, letters to my younger self. I wrote down everything I wished someone had told me, that you are not your mistakes, that you can rebuild, that even in darkness there is a spark waiting to be found. Every day I begin to feel alive again. Not fully, not instantly, but slowly. I begin to heal. It's been 5 years since that day, 5 years since I walked into that rehab center and decided to fight for my life. Sometimes I still wake up and can't believe I made it this far. Because the truth is, recovery doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, like sunrise after a long storm. The cravings didn't just disappear, the memories didn't just fade, but I learned to face them one by one. I learned that pain doesn't have to destroy you, it can shape you, it can teach you who you really are. In rehab, I met others like me, broken peoples searching for light. We shared stories, laughter, and sometimes silence that said more than words ever could. That's when I realized something powerful. We all carry our own kind of pain, but none of us have to carry it alone. After completing my recovery, I started volunteering at that same center. At first, it was just a few hours a week, helping with music sessions, talking to new arrivals, but soon it became my life. Every time I met someone struggling, I saw myself in their eyes. That same fear, that same hopelessness. And I told them, I know what that feels like, but I promise it doesn't have to end here. Today I work full time as a counselor. I help people who have lost their way, just like I once did. And every time someone says, "You helped me stay clean," I think back to my mother's tears, my father's silence, and that boy with the guitar, the one I thought I would lost forever. I found him again. He was never really gone. He was just waiting for me to come back. If you are listening to this right now and you are struggling, please know this. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not your mistakes. You are human, and that means you still have a chance. Recovery isn't about forgetting the past, it's about forgiving yourself for it. It's about standing up even when you are still shaking and saying, "I am not done yet." Every scar you carry tells a story, not of weakness but of survival. Every day you wake up clean is a victory worth celebrating. And no matter how dark your life feels right now, light is still out there waiting for you to reach it. I found mine, and if I can, so you can.